There you go.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Got the brother
Yahweh Sap from the JMS San Antonio camp.
Khan, and the title of this lesson is going to be called "The Truth Is Our Gift." This truth is our gift. Okay.
That's right.
You got any opening statements, bro?
La, I mean, well, yeah, it's a gift because it was bestowed upon us. You know, no one else was given this truth. You know, a lot of the times, what I like to say on lessons, what I like to point out to brothers a lot is that out of all the millions and billions of people upon this planet, the Lord gave you His name and His Son's name and the understanding of the Scriptures to be able to break it down and teach other people, and not just other people, but other brothers. You know, younger brothers. You know, and break it down to them to the point to where they understand. You know, so that it's a gift because not everyone was given. Not everyone was given it.
Yep.
You know, so we can't we can't take this truth for granted. You know, we can't take it and just throw it in the pile with all the other religions like these other heathens do, man. Especially, you know, of those of our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, the Israelites according to the Bible, because our people will hear this word. And ultimately, their spirit will agree with it, but that demon that whispers in their ear and that flesh, you know, denies it, and they start getting mad. They start getting carnal, and they want to kill us because it completely goes against the way that they already lived or the way that they're living. Man, it goes against their lifestyle about how they're already pleasing their flesh. We tell them to please their spirit, which is following after Yahweh Shem Shai, and they get angry about it. Man, they get carnal. You know, so that's a gift because whenever you heard this truth. You didn't get angry, but you got more curious. You wanted to figure out more. You know, like, what does this mean? You start watching more videos, or if you were at the camp, you start coming out to the camps on Fridays or Saturdays. You know, you buy yourself a Bible or you get it from the library. You know, however you came into this truth and however you started figuring out more things is how you did it. But it was all through the Spirit, through Harakah. You know.
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and get this precept real quick. In Ephesians chapter 3, verse 8, it says, "Unto me, who am less than the least of all saints, is this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Mashiach." And this is Paul writing to the Israelite foreigners at Ephesus,
That's right.
explaining that this gift that is given to him, this graceful knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's been given to him, was given to him so that he could preach among the Gentiles, among the Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that were scattered throughout in this instance, you know, the area of Ephesus. But these epistles that are written are addressed to the church. To the church that we are abiding in, man. So it says the unsearchable riches, and truly the Lord's mercies and His knowledge and understanding are really eternal, man. You know, it never ends. And really, you can read the whole chapter, but I'm gonna just get one more verse. It says, "And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from the beginning of the world hath been hid in the Most High, who created all things by Yahweh Shai Mashiach." What is the mystery, man? The salvation of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans.
That's right.
Okay, the revelation of Yahweh Shai. Okay, all of these things were hidden up until these times, man. And really, Yahweh Shai is still hidden in them. Oh, you know what? Reminds me of 2 Corinthians. Yahweh Shai is still hidden in the minds of the 2/3, man.
God, and if I may add, you know, what the brother was saying, if I want to go ahead and get this, that word grace in the Blue Letter Bible is it's going to play because I don't know how to pronounce it. Charis.
Strong's G 5485 charis.
Charis. All right, and it means of the merciful kindness by which Yahweh, exerting His holy influence upon souls, turns them to Hamashiach, keeps, strengthens, increases them in Christian faith. But we know, in the faith of Yahweh, it says knowledge, affection, and kindles them to the exercise of the Christian virtues. You know, so that's a gift of grace. So this gift was bestowed upon us. You know.
God.
It's like I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to get that.
Hey, the water for adding that, bro. I was gonna say if you want to use it, you can just use that.
I bet.
So I want to get this real quick in 2 Corinthians 3 and 14. It says, "But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Mashiach." So for those Israelites who don't abide in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they still have basically a veil, which is something that, a cloth typically that's, put over somebody's face. And when you have a blindfold on, you can't see.
That's right.
Now Moses had to put the veil over his face to basically block the light that was coming, radiating from his face, because the scriptures say that wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. His face was literally shining.
That's right.
And he had to walk, around basically with that veil over his face to kind of mask that light, man, because he had just come back from supping with the Lord, And so what these people see, when we're out and about in the world, is that truth, man. That's our gift, That's what makes us, shine, if you will.
Quick precept.
Go ahead, bro.
This is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse 14. And it says, Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid.
Right, man. Zion, monument. Okay? We're that spiritual lighthouse, man.
That's right.
Can you get 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 4? Okay. We are the ones that Israel goes to for answers, man. The Israelites with half a brain will go to for answers. Okay? Because we have the truth, man. Go ahead, bro.
This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 4. It says, "But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief."
Right. We're sitting here telling the Israelites that the Lord is going to return with destruction.
That's right.
Upon those who don't want to get right with him. Like the scriptures say, those that would not, that I should rule over them, bring them hither and slay them before me. The scriptures talk about Revelation 19th chapter, how Yahushua is going to return and destroy the armies of those that oppose him, man.
That's right.
Okay, including self-proclaimed white people, Edomites. And so that day that's coming is going to be to those who aren't paying attention, like a thief in the night, like the scriptures say.
The day of darkness.
A day of darkness, But that day is not going to overtake the men of the Lord, because we've been watching. We haven't been settled on our leaves, so to speak.
That's right.
Yes, bro.
And it says, verse 6 says, "Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober."
Right. Because the scriptures say in Isaiah, Isaiah the 40th chapter, where it talks about our people are dumb dogs. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
And while he's looking for that, it says that it's not sleep as do others, because right now, what do they call it? They call it the American dream. Whenever famous, so-called famous people are living life, what do they call it? Living their dreams and so on and so forth. And ultimately, you have to be asleep in order to dream. Right now, these people, especially our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they want to live that American dream. They don't want to wake up, because ultimately a dream, whenever you have a dream, a lot of the times, it's something that you want or something that you wish for, something that pleases you, and that's what they want. But ultimately, if you don't wake from a dream, or if you stay in the dreamland forever, a doctor will diagnose you with coma, and then eventually you'll die because your body hasn't gotten the nutritions and all, so on and so forth, which is ultimately what's going to happen unto these people, man. They're too busy, they're still asleep. They don't want to wake up to all the death and destruction and wickedness that this man, the Red Hebrew Edomite, has caused. That they're gonna get killed right alongside him. By who? By the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Moreover, the elect and Yahweh Shai, man, the Messiah. Because Yahweh is going to send his son Yahweh Shai back to reap what was sown. Which is judgment upon the heathen for their wickedness.
Yep. I found that precept is in Isaiah 56 and 10. It says, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber.
Which, if I may add, whenever you get a dog, you don't get a dog just for it to lay there and do nothing. You know,
look cute.
Yeah, you get a dog that way. If someone breaks in the middle of the night, it'll wake up and bark. Me personally, I do have a dog, and whenever someone knocks on the door, or whenever someone is banging on the door, if I don't hear it, he hears it and he barks. And that's what lets me know, okay, someone's here.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a dog for pretty much as an alarm.
Yeah.
And that's what they used them. That's what they used them for back in the day.
Yeah. Watchdog.
That's right, a watchdog. That's a good point. So that's what they're dumb dogs. And this is speaking about our people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of, man. Because,
Watchmen.
that's right. Because there was a time where our people completely forgot who they were. Mm-hmm. This was told in Jeremiah 17:4. The Most High told Jeremiah, he said, even thou shalt discontinue from thy heritage, meaning that he himself is going to discontinue. So our prophets for a long time didn't know who we were. Mm-hmm. But by the grace of Yahweh, by the gift that was bestowed upon us, the prophets came back, and we learned his name again. We relearned his name again, relearned who we were. And now you have the prophets out preaching, man.
God. Yeah, man. Those who are supposed to be calling themselves leaders of our people. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are, dumb, which basically mean mute in these terms.
That's right.
Dogs, man. They don't really proclaim the destruction that's coming out.
That's right.
Like you got Nate, not going into Jacob's trouble, for example. And many other, Christians, pastors, it's just they're not warning the people, man, and that's blood that's going to be on their hands if they call themselves watchmen.
Okay.
I guess the next, did we get that we didn't even get that in Romans, did we?
Not yet. But I do have another precept.
Okay, go ahead.
God, this
We didn't even start on none of them yet.
I thought we got Ephesians. Oh no, that's 2.
Nah.
Hey, all through the Spirit, man. All through Habakkuk. Let me see. God, this is gonna be the book of 2 Timothy chapter 4, and it's gonna be verse 3. It says, "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having each itching ears," man, because they're lying. Ultimately, whenever you're lying, they say that you have an itchy ear.
Yep. And we're in those times now.
That's right.
Go ahead, bro.
Let me say this one thing. But it says heap to themselves teachers. They will not endure sound doctrine because they don't listen unto the truth. Whenever you go up to any other camp or you go into these churches, man, they don't preach the Messiah, and they don't preach the Most High and His Son Yahushua. They preach God and Caesarea Borgia, man. And then
Jesus.
All that they teach that God is all love, which is a lie. They teach that you can do anything, get away with it if you come to church on Sundays, man. They're setting these people up for destruction.
Yep.
As the brother went into, dumb dogs.
Yep.
They're false prophets speaking false lies, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then turning it around on the men of the Lord. All right, because once again, it appears with their lust. It says endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust, so they teach to what makes them feel good. They teach what makes their flesh feel good.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get this in Romans.
Come.
Romans chapter 4 and 1. 11. I'm sorry. 11 and 7. I don't know where I got 4 and 1 from. Romans 11 and 7. It says, you know what? Let me see. Outside of verse 5.
God.
It says, even so at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
And what present time? The time we're in right now, man.
Yep.
Where people, they're all giving, once again, they're giving themselves over to their own lust. People, they nowadays you have a lot more atheists, that don't believe in the Most High, or they believe that there is a God. They just don't know where to go because these Christians, they know that the Christians are lies, that these Catholics are liars, and they don't know what truth to believe, but there is a remnant, Lord willing, we're part of that number. There's that remnant, to where they do believe on the Most High and they do know the correct names and they do know, what to believe and what not to believe, because that, as it says in the scripture, they were blessed with that grace, that time where the Most High blessed them, you had mercy upon them.
Yep. Continuing on, it says, verse 6, and if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. And so, in order to be saved, we have to have works, and we have to have faith, man.
That's right.
It says if by grace, then it is no more works, which means if this thing is a gift, how can we earn it? You don't earn a gift. The gift is given.
That's right.
And it says, otherwise, grace is no more grace. Basically, that would defeat the purpose of grace, right? And it says, but if it be of works, which is talking about what? The salvation. If a salvation, if it be of works, then there's no more grace. Okay? So we can't work our way as far as, we can't earn the kingdom, man. The kingdom has to be given unto us, man.
That's right. Because,
go ahead. If
I may add, Salaki, I don't want to interrupt, but ultimately this is confounding Christians and these Old Testament cats, man. Talking about the law. The IUIC, for example. It's confounding them. Because, well, you get it.
Yeah, you can't be an Old Testament only believer and believe in the Old Testament, because the Old Testament talks about Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like the people that wrote the New Testament only had the Old Testament to go by. So you claim you believe in the Old Testament. Well, why you don't agree with the individuals that read the same things and wrote the New Testament?
Yahweh Shai quoted the Old Testament over and over and over again.
Yep.
Yahweh Shai even states that the Old Testament speaks about him. So
they tripping, bro.
It's confusion. They weren't blessed with the gift.
Okay.
The gift with ultimately when you break it down, the gift is faith. In order to believe in this truth, in order to come into the truth and continue to preach and continue to follow after Yahweh Bashim Shai, you have to be blessed with that gift of faith.
That's right.
But go ahead.
Continuing on, Romans 11 and 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it.
That's right. Once again, that they have obtained this truth, man. Because ultimately Israel is looking for something to believe in. They are looking for something to follow after, which is why they're so diehard for Christianity, why they're so diehard for all these other religions, because they want something higher than them to guide them, But the Most High isn't giving them that path, because if you just read the Old Testament, the book of Judges, Deuteronomy, all these books, speak about how the Israelites were given the Most High's name, and they would do good for a while, but then they would go off and do worse than their fathers. And then they would do good for a while again and then go off. So the Most High was like, look, man, I'm just going to take it away completely, and I'm going to leave a remnant that they're going to be the only ones to remember my name.
Okay.
So that it says, but the election have obtained it, which is that grace, that mercy that was bestowed upon us to be able to have faith in order to preach this truth, man. To be able to believe in His name, because ultimately you can believe in the scriptures all you want, but if you don't have Yahweh's name, you're through. Because
you don't really believe without the name.
That's right, because you believe you may believe that this is all true, but at the end of the day, you don't have the name. At the end of the day, you don't know the true name of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Because the Lord says to call upon His name. And through calling upon the Lord's name, you have men all over the world, and I don't want to say just in GMS, but GMS, for example, you have men of the Lord in GMS that are all over the world, man. This thing has went global. These men, you have men who believe not in just the scriptures, but on the name of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai.
Yapa the Baryam.
That's right. And I have what are you getting now? Because I have one more. I have another precept.
Oh, okay. I was gonna get this real quick for you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Psalms 19 and 4. It says, I'll start at verse 3. It says, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard.
That's right.
Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world.
That's right. It says their line has gone out and their words to the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it says there is no speech or language that this is not heard, because you have brothers in different. You have brothers who speak nothing but Spanish, and somehow the word got to them, man.
Okay, the Lord brought in men that speak Spanish, man. The Lord brought in men that speak German, speak,
Yiddish,
yeah,
speak
Japanese,
Afrikaans, Japanese, Chinese. You have people over there in the Philippines, man, who speak the Philippine language.
Mm-hmm. Suriname.
Mm-hmm. So this truth is being brought out, in all tongues, tongues is language.
Yep,
so in all tongues, places all throughout the world, it's reaching the four corners of the earth. This is how we know we're at the end, man.
That's right.
And once again, Brakatah Yahweh Shem Shah, that we were blessed with this truth, man.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and get this real quick. It's going to be the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 12. It says, "Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Neglect not which this is the point, verse 14, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery." So they neglect not the gift that is in thee, which ultimately, that once again, breaking it down, that gift is faith, to be able to believe in the truth and be able to preach the words of Yahweh Shem Shai.
Yeah.
Because you had men come into this truth. Not men, but niggas come into this. Not even come in, but they tried. They would preach for a while. But ultimately they didn't have that. They didn't have faith. That gift wasn't given to them, so they fell out.
Yeah, man. Speaking on that, if the Lord gave us this truth, bro, it's for a reason, man. You have to be a real scumbag to really receive the understanding and not do anything with it.
The Most High really has to hate you, man.
Yes, and so let's assume that we're not of those men. You know what I mean?
That's
if we like Elder Yahshua put it, if we woke up today and we still have the name, we have the understanding, and we still in this thing, we got a shot, man. Don't count yourself. Let us not count ourselves out before the fat lady sings, so to speak, man. Because it's not over till it's over.
That's right. And there's a huge difference between being prideful and having confidence in the Lord, man. Because you have certain brothers who are just, I don't want to say brothers, but you have certain people who are just prideful in certain things, like their job, they may be the best at what they do. You have some niggas who came into the truth, who knew more scriptures, and, brothers who remembered and knew more scriptures, could break it down. And then a lot of brothers, man, who came into the camps, and they could break it down like that, man. But the Spirit wasn't dealing with them. That pride was their downfall. They thought they were better than everyone else, because the Most High doesn't deal with the prideful; it deals with the meek. Now, having confidence in the Lord, you believe that you're part of that number, because ultimately you do. Whenever you come into this thing, you have to believe that you're part of that number, because if you don't, then you're gonna start doubting. Anything that happens to you that is bad, you're gonna be like, man, the Most High hates me. But also, Hebrews 12, bro. The Most High tests you. Sirach 2. The Most High tests you to see if you're worthy. And you will never be worthy if you don't believe that you're worthy. So you have to believe that, the Most High gave this, as the brother said, that the Most High gave this truth to you for a reason, because we hope and pray that we're part of that number, but also at the same time we have to have that faith and that confidence. We have to believe, we have to ultimately believe He is, and that He gave it to us because that Lord willing, we attain that salvation. But you got to walk around and believe that, you're part of that number,
Okay.
And that's really what will keep you going. Because if you go through hard times, you'll be like, look, the Lord is just testing me. And it'll be a huge faith booster, man. It'd be like, look, man, the Most High just testing me. You start digging into scriptures deeper, and the more you dig into the scriptures, the more not only the brothers notice you more, But the Most High sees that, man, because keep in mind, there's angels checking on you every single day, keeping tabs on you, okay, so, we took away his car, how is he going to react? What is he going to do? And then if you freak out and you curse the Lord's name, all right, the X is put on your forehead and then they move on, man. You might, because ultimately if you're giving this truth and you fall out because of something, honestly, something dumb happens, like your car gets towed, it's something you can easily get back, with the help of brothers. But if your car gets towed, you start cursing out the Lord's name, you get mad, cursing out brothers, ultimately that's that condemnation for you, because you were given this truth. You were given the Lord's name, the Yahweh's name. You're given everything, and then you fell out, because the scriptures tell you it's impossible to come back into this thing, man. Because the Most High gave it to you as a gift, and if you toss the gift out, man, you can't get that gift back.
Yeah, we have to value the gift that's been given to us. I'm gonna get this real quick.
Go ahead.
This is Philippians 3:8. It says, "Yea, doubtless I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Mashiach Yahushua my Lord," which that is really an example of a man that does truly value this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man, because the scriptures talk about in Proverbs 8th chapter that wisdom is like unto rubies. Mm-hmm. And so this is very valuable, man. It's more valuable than riches, and because it's eternal, it doesn't go away. Riches, and I mean, even J. Cole said it, and Kendrick Lamar, money come and go, love come and go, hoes come and go. You know what I mean? Right. But this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that's our real thing to cherish. Continuing on, it says, "For whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Mashiach." Like the brothers just said, for example, brother may lose things that are valuable to them, and this is because of the Most High testing, allowing us to be tested through various temptations. And so we ought not to faint, but always to continue to pray, like the scriptures say, that we continue to endure, man. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, this gift of ours, man. Did you have any other precepts, points, or anything, bro?
God, I want to get this. It's going to be a book of Mark, chapter 4 and 11, and it says, "And we said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Yahweh, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables." So unto you it is given to know the kingdom of Yahweh, to know the mystery of the kingdom. Unto you are this you're blessed, with the grace, the mercy, and the faith of Yahweh Shemi Shai.
That's right. Your part to Barium. So I think that's it. I think we proved the point.
For sure.
I know you keep going, but we don't got to prove to everybody how many precepts we know. I think brothers and sincere listeners get it, man.
So with that, man, let's go ahead and end it off on this like we originally planned.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the book of Romans. Let me go ahead and get it. It's gonna be the book of Romans, chapter 6. I want to say verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
This is Romans 6 and chapter 23. And it reads, "For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Yahweh is eternal life through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach our Lord." So as the brother said, this gift is eternal, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Lord bestows upon you, that's eternal, man. Because ultimately, if you make it unto the end, if you have faith that you're gonna make it unto the end, and you believe, and the Lord allows you to, bro, by the time those missiles are coming, if you're not one of the ones to get taken out, the Lord is going to raise you up to chariots. Even if you do get taken out, if you're part of the elect, the Lord is going to bring you back to life and raise you up in the chariots, give you the new bodies, and you're going to come down and put judgment upon our enemies, man.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be protecting your family, bro. There's going to be so much peace upon Israel. It's like you can't even fathom it. Like imagine your son or your daughter, your baby girl, your baby boy, laying down in a pit full of snakes, and they all kissing them and hugging them, and he's playing with them and nothing happens. Right. Or a lion laying with a gazelle, or a lion with a hyena, man, because those are sworn enemies. a lion and a hyena playing. Could you like just imagine certain things that seem impossible happening, because it's gonna happen, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, and through his men that believe, the elect. So anything else, Doc?
That's it, bro.
All right, man. So we weren't trying to make this too long, but all through the spirit. Once again, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory. Kahaloyim,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakodash.
All right, peace and blessings out there, teaching the truth and teaching sincerity, belong to your apostles and elders of our great millstone, who are the true apostles and elders of all Israel. Until the next time we say Shalom.
Shalom.